All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting edition of Two Men in Black and White, an honest conversation. Just a couple of yahoos with a computer and live streaming ability trying to look at the world through each other's colored lenses. I obviously have the black lens, and Brock Ganeles has his pulse on Jewish America as well as white America, too. All right, Brock, let's get right into it, man. Just an ugly day in America, America the violent. And Brock, I'm tired of hearing this is not who we are, because based on our elected leadership, this is exactly who we are. And this is who the world thinks we are. That's why we have travel advisories to the US right now. So I'm talking about Rob Reiner before we get to Brown University. What a sad, sad occurrence. One of my favorite Hollywood people of all time.
This is a terrible one, right? I mean, it's sad on so many levels. And as it hit, when I first saw the story, they were talking to the Sun, I was like, oh, fuck, right? And it just got me to, like, yesterday we were talking about mental health with Sharon Moore, with that Michigan coach, right? And so, like, this is a confluence of, like, clearly mental health plus addiction equals, horrific violence. I mean, we'll hear more of the story. But yeah, it's terrible. I mean, Rob Reiner, as a progressive on the left, I loved Rob Reiner, right? Because he was just so willing to say shit, right? So he's a good outspoken voice of the resistance beyond being, right, just a very talented and great director mostly. But of course, we grew up and we remember him as an actor too, right? As Meathead.
Archie Bunker.
Classic All in the Family, which, oh my God, 60 years ago, 70 years ago,
Right.
60 years ago, 50 years ago, like
The early 70s.
predicted, right? Just predicted and or, started to teach us about MAGA, right?
Yeah.
Archie Bunker was MAGA. Archie Bunker would have been watching Fox News
Yep.
every night. And ranting and raving about the others. He would have pulled the lever for Trump, and every MAGA politician may not have been a Jan 6, but definitely would have been a supporter and probably a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
So so we learned about the right wing from that television show. But it's just, it's terrible. I mean, look, the story of the day is Trump's reaction, right?
Right.
It's so horrific, yet so unsurprising. Like, as I was reading it, I'm like, okay, Trump's rants are like gun violence.
Right.
It's just every day, and we're numb to it, and we don't do anything about it, and a couple voices say some shit. Like, this is almost like the Sandy Hook of Trump tweeting, right? Because this one even got some MAGA people appalled. Right? Some of the comments on Truth Social were like, whoa, this is not right. Oh, you shouldn't be saying this, right? I love you, President Trump, but you should be nicer or something like that. I mean, this is so over the top in terms of that it's like it's barely human behavior, right?
Such bad taste, such poor taste from the leader of the free world, which he is no longer. That title has been taken away. We've got to choose it. To me, it might be Volodymyr Zelensky. I don't know. It might be Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom and his social media team is calling this lunatic like they see it. I mean, they are killing him. They are living rent-free in that empty dome of his, and they are calling out this kind of trash at every turn. And, I don't care if you're MAGA or not. Some of his films, crossed the political spectrum, and we all loved them. I mean, Misery, I'm trying to...
Princess Bride. Some people love that Princess Bride. Like, that's considered a huge classic. I mean, Harry Met Sally is such a down the middle, like, romantic comedy, love story type of movie that, I mean, his movies were totally mainstream and beloved. Spinal Tap, I mean, come on, no one's even thinking about anyone's political leanings when they're watching the
It's
movies.
90 minutes of fun and pure hilarity. One of my favorites, and I did the movie junket for it. I didn't get a chance to interview him, but I did interview David Spade. But Dickie Roberts, former child,
Oh, child star.
Dickie Roberts was a great flick. And you see what he does? He puts a smile on your face. And just because he had political awareness and political smarts doesn't make him a bad human being who deserves to die the way that they're reporting that he may have been unalived. I mean, it is really, really a sad and tragic family tale.
This is America where you have freedom of speech and you say it, and you know we're encouraged to argue and debate and air our thoughts and feelings, right? And we take it both sides, right? We feel that way. Charlie Kirk could say whatever the fuck he wanted, right? Didn't agree with a word of it. Didn't think he should be shot, right? But
Right.
Trump's reaction is so psychopathic. It's so inhumane. It's so just the the actions of someone who's really like such a damaged human being, and it comes through in moments like that. And the fact that he doubles down in a press conference, you know, like, oh, I wasn't a fan of Rob Reiner, is like literally wished him dead and danced on his grave. And the other thing Trump was doing, which interestingly in that tweet, is he was in essence applauding what he thought was one of his supporters who had killed Rob Reiner. He didn't know at the time when the tweet came out, and none of us did, that it was the son.
Right.
He thought it was one of his supporters, and it was almost a "this is what you get" type of messaging in his tweet. So it was beyond being sociopathic. It was actually an attempt at post-death intimidation.
No
as
doubt.
if like he had, you know, called it without calling it. Look, he's a piece of shit, and it's a fucking disgrace. And every MAGA follower, anyone, has to look at that and say, that's what I'm a part of.
Right.
That's who I am.
Yep. That's what I'll be remembered as a part of this, because that's how your family look at you. Oh, he's MAGA. You know, there are people right now going through their Christmas dinner list saying, oh no, don't invite Uncle Charlie, he's fucking MAGA. Right? And it's happening because people are getting checked off of fucking polite society, because nobody wants you around. I mean, Trump was basically saying he died because he was anti-Trump, right? In America, that doesn't happen to you. It's not supposed to happen to you.
That's
Now,
what Trump was hoping. Trump was hoping that he died because of his political beliefs, not through some family tragedy, which is like its own horrendous story about mental health and addiction in America, right? And we'll learn more about it. Trump wanted him to die for, quote, the right reason, being that this is what you get when you speak out against me.
When you don't rock with me, you die, right? Because that's what he would
that's what he wishes upon, quote, his enemies, which are just anyone who has a political view that is against. We're his enemies, right?
Right.
He would wish upon us the same fate that Rob Reiner has, right? We get the Trump derangement syndrome on our chat boards all the time, and I'm always arguing back. We're not deranged. It's not the deranged to say that Trump is a sociopath and has, in essence, no human emotions and is a problem for America and the world. I'm like, I'm not deranged in saying that. I'm just calling it as I see it.
Right. What's wrong with calling balls and strikes, you know, against a lunatic? Right? He's not throwing any strikes. And he's a clown. He's a clown who does not belong in polite society.
And he's beyond that. Look, he's the political leader. So we're going to have a next cabinet meeting, and all these people are going to line up and praise Trump for what great leader he is. And it's like, how are you still rolling along, right? How tied are you to the white supremacy movement that you'll swallow anything in
Right.
order to still be a part of it. And the other thing I see is that that tweet was just, it's been coming from a mile away because Trump's been having outbursts at these women in the press, and he's been amping up the direct insults and the direct intimidation. So he's just an old doddering man in mental decline who's also a psychopath. So that's why this was not a surprising tweet.
True that.
It's fucking ridiculous, but not surprising. I wasn't for a second like, oh, I can't believe Trump is saying this. Like, of course he's saying this. This
Right.
is right up his alley.
Right.
He'll say it the next time too. He's not backing away from it.
And he'll pretend the day of the funeral like he doesn't even know what's going on. You know, with the passing of this American icon. Here's what a real president said in terms of being the consoler in chief, which, by the way, happens to be one of the duties of the President of the United States of America when the country suffers an unimaginable loss, right? There is no reason we should have lost this man and his wife this way. But a real president, Barack Obama, said that together he and his wife lived lives defined by purpose. They will be remembered for the values they championed and the countless people they inspired. Now, if I didn't know better, I would say this was a dig at Trump, right? He has no purpose. His purpose is to get rich, to enrich himself. He doesn't inspire anyone, and he damn sure doesn't champion any values.
I'm gonna give you 1 and 3, and I'm going to sadly
God.
challenge you on number 2, which is that unfortunately Trump does inspire some people, right? And he inspires MAGA, and he's inspired outliers to commit violence, which he thought he had done in this case. So I do think that Trump, sadly has the inspirational ability. He's helped to inspire this whole white supremacy movement in America. So certainly not in a way that we respect, but I think you'd have to argue that Trump has had the ability to inspire. And also, look, we're focused on the Rob Reiner death because he was such a high profile, and he was, in essence, he was kind of white excellence, right? He was great at what he did, and he was outspoken, and Trump responded to it. But it's no less tragic that a couple of really probably smart young kids got gunned down at Brown University when they were just in school.
Is it
taking a final
inspiration?
exam right before they got to go home for the Christmas break?
Is it inspiration?
That shooter's still on the run. That shooter
when
was inspired
when you're inspiring
by Trump. We'll find
people
out.
to do negative things,
But whenever
to do
whenever
hateful things,
some violence
engage in hate speech,
potentially is right wing inspired and Trump
hate
inspired,
the
like we don't
others,
hear the
to
story
blame
ever again. Right? We haven't
others,
heard about the Charlie Kirk
to
shooter.
hate your neighbor
we
because they
haven't
don't
heard
look
about
like
the DC
you.
pipe bomber.
I don't know that I
since
call that
word leaked
inspiration.
out that he was a MAGA supporter. We just stopped hearing about the people committing this violence when they don't fit the narrative of being left-wing Antifa, which basically none of them ever do.
I don't know what it is, brother. Let's keep going.
All right. Our live audience had to suffer through my silence of 3 minutes.
So,
When you popped off, the last thing I was saying is that beyond Rob Reiner's high profile, but we have the two young, smart kids with their lives ahead of them, right? Taking a test at Brown University, and they just got gunned down yesterday as well, right? We had we didn't talk about this yesterday. We had 2 Americans in Syria get killed, right? Because we still have troops all over the world in harm's way. But that my point was that we don't hear about the inspiration that Trump has given to some of these killers, and as soon as we start to get an inclination that it's not a left-wing Antifa, we don't hear about him anymore,
Right.
be it Charlie Kirk or the pipe bomber. Like, whenever we hear it's the typical profile of a right-wing shooter, young white male, it just, we don't hear about it again. The DC pipe bomber case, maybe it's a young black male, but we haven't heard shit
about that. You just said yesterday, I believe, that you wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing Americans abroad getting gunned down because of America's standing in the world now, because of the way, Trump wants to bully people. I damn sure wouldn't be traveling to Venezuela anytime soon, with USA tattooed on my forehead. There is a certain look about Americans, walking around all entitled and shit and demanding that people speak English wherever you are. So, again, we're America the Violent. This is who we are. This is who we've always been. We've always been hateful. We've always had our foot on the neck of others. We want our guns, no matter the cost. We briefly touched on the two kids that were attending Brown University, that this is their second school shooting. Second time they've had to shelter in place. The second time they've been traumatized. The second time they didn't know if they were going to live or die on a school campus. And how is that a good life? Just take a look at Google searches where people are searching how to move abroad, right? Do I have to give up my citizenship to move to so-and-so country? People are moving to Latin and Central America in droves. In droves. If you literally Google expat on YouTube, it'll be a ton of videos that come up with people just talking about their experience moving abroad. I saw 6 or 7 families last summer in Panama in the same condo complex that we were in the Airbnb. From America, white Americans. So, if they're leaving, one family was from Texas, right? And everything's supposed to be bigger and better in Texas. Maybe they didn't think the Texas history class was a complete picture of American history. You got to take a Texas history class in high school in Texas. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right? Texas was talking about seceding from the Union at one time. Talking about creating their own stock exchange. Who the hell you think you are? But this is who we are, bro. And the jackass in the White House is only exacerbating the situation. Only exacerbating it. And I don't know how people say Barack Obama made it worse, made it a racial thing. What'd the guy do besides wear a tan suit?
Woke up black is what he did.
Exactly.
Right? And had the audacity, to become a leader.
And to be a good one.
Look, America's about to get worse, right? There's no chance for a healthcare plan to kick in before year end, right? We've got like 3-4 days. Nothing's getting done. Premiums are going to go through the roof. So, America becomes less wealthy, less healthy, right? Starting January 2nd. We're still trying to storm arm a shitty ceasefire for Ukraine. Europe's trying to work around us on that. We got lucky yesterday that a JetBlue plane didn't collide with an Air Force refueling plane tanker that didn't have a transponder on or whatever. So we luckily avoided a mid-air collision. And if that had happened, it would have just woken America up to what are we doing down there? Why do we have all these military planes down there, right? We're just playing the odds, right? Something's going to happen when you have all these aircraft out in a space where they shouldn't be.
Right. For no reason, absolutely no reason.
For no reason. That we're going to seize Venezuela's oil. That's what we're going to do. We're going to hostily take over Venezuela.
And do what with it? Keep it? What does an oil tanker's worth of oil do for the price of gas in America?
If we do that, why wouldn't China just invade Taiwan tomorrow?
Right.
Just be like, okay, this is how the world operates. You guys fucking, what are you going to say to us? Are you going to come after us because we invaded a sovereign country? Yeah. You just fucking scooped into Venezuela.
Right.
We're going to do the same shit over here.
Right.
What the fuck are you going to do about it? You coming after us? Yeah, it's just... And what ally is with us? There are no allies anymore. There's no
coalition.
There's nothing.
There's no coalition. So
we're,
who are you coalescing with? Who are you going to hook up with in order to defend world peace. I mean, it's
Nobody.
it's a joke right now.
Yeah. So we're just walking down this path and things are just getting, worse and worse and worse and layering, one negative on top of another. And yeah, so yesterday or last night, whenever it was, Trump just announced in essence the tone of society.
Yep.
With him as leader, right? Like that's our society. Our society now is somebody dies
Things
and
happen.
we immediately, within minutes of the announcement of the death, like you're dancing on that person's grave, criticizing them, telling them like they got what they deserved, and basically hoping that it was someone who did it on the president's behalf, right? That's who we are in this country. That's who we are internationally. That's who we are. And I totally agree with what you said. I'm so fucking tired of this. Oh, the American people are better than this. We're better than this.
Nope.
Show me. Show me.
Yep.
We're not better than this. We are exactly this in this moment. And anyone who's not enraged and who's not motivating for action is not doing everything that they can do to force change in this country is complicit with the society that they are a part of. And we got just a glaring example of American society from our leader last night.
And the rest of the world says, see, look at this bullshit. Look at these people. What is wrong with them? That's what the rest of the world is saying. What's wrong with these fucking yahoos? That's what the rest of the world is saying. And they've been saying that all year long, since January 1st, 2025. They've been saying that. Because that's when ICE started snatching folks and disappearing folks for no good reason. We haven't even touched on the fact that Abrego Garcia was released, even though they tried to hold him and tried to make him into something he wasn't. Now they're going into New Orleans to grab 5,000 people and disappear them, for no good reason.
And they just put a number on it, 5,000.
Yeah.
There's no reason that they got that number. It's just, well, that's the capacity of the for-profit detainee centers. Sure. So we got to fill it.
Sure.
That's the quota. That's how we all get paid. Yep. We get our bonuses and they get paid. So 5,000 is the number. We don't care if they're citizens. We don't care who the fuck the 5,000 is.
Not at all.
They're just going to be brown. They're going to be black and brown.
And as long as
that's all we know.
Yeah.
But Canada and the rest of the country has been kind of asking us, me and you, the American people, like sane America, why are
What's
you
your deal?
Allowing this?
What's your deal? They want to know. They want to know what the hell is going on. And we don't have a good answer, right? We don't have a good answer. We don't know what to tell folks that, why 1% of America decided that giving this Yahoo another chance in office was a good idea. This guy's a freak show.
But in Georgia and Hungary even, and Turkey and other countries, they've flooded the streets.
Yep.
And they're still wondering, why do you still feel so comfortable? Why do you still feel so insulated from what's going on in your own country?
Right.
You're not.
Right.
And you're just slow and fat and lazy and too cozy.
And pathetic. We are pathetic. All right, bro. Give me a couple of quick hits. What do you got?
Now, you got the first one for me today.
All right. Calvin Brodus, better known as Snoop Doggy Dogg, and the face of the U.S. Winter Olympic team, is apparently on the run. Figuratively speaking, he's gone radio silent since the Netflix documentary dropped because he apparently, word on the streets is that he's concerned because he and Diddy were so close. So people have been going back and finding videos indicating how close the Broadus and Combs family were. So there was a video of Snoop Dogg saying, hey, our kids have been friends since they were 6 years old. And when Justin went to UCLA, my son went to UCLA. And we're tight. And so now there's an inference that Mr. Broadus may have been involved in some of this SA activity that is alleged to have taken place with Mr. Combs, Sean Puffy Combs, Diddy, whatever name he's going by this week. Love, who cares? But, here's the funny thing. Apparently there was a sex trafficking allegation against Mr. Broadus. I was able to find it in a simple Google search, and no one paid attention to it because after these allegations, he became the face of the Olympics, right? He got the Super Bowl, right? He got all this, The Voice. Now he's on he's mainstream America. And my question to the pop culture icon developers, how did you decide to put the brother who had been charged with murder as the face of some sort of cultural phenomenon? What is he, the ambassador for Team USA again this year? What is he gonna?
Yeah.
What is he?
LA Olympics.
Yeah. What is he?
And the Olympics coming
What is he gonna hold the torch? I mean, come on, right? All these talented African Americans, like you said, where's the black excellence? We've got plenty of musical talent that could have filled that seat on The Voice, that could be an ambassador for America and tell America's story much better than the dude, who had to censor, most of his song when he sang Gin and Juice at the Summer Olympics. I mean, come on, man. Again, my issue is it buys into the stereotypes, right? White folks ain't comfortable with that, with Gin and Juice. White folks hadn't heard Gin and Juice until we put it on NBC, on 37 different networks of NBC, and True TV and Peacock and every other network that NBC could run their signal through, making Black America look crazy, like all we can be is gangsters and rappers and have booty shakers behind us. I mean, it really does cheapen the Black experience and the value of Black America to America. All right, I'm off my soapbox. That's my quick hit. What do you got?
I think he'd probably get pardoned because he did sing at the White House, right, as a part of the inauguration. So if something does come down the pipe, I would bet that Snoop would have a get out of jail free card. I'm kind of a little surprised that Diddy hasn't been pardoned. I mean, Trump's handing out pardons he's handing out pardons like they're fucking, right?
You know who's in charge of the pardons, right?
No, I don't.
Alice Marie Johnson, a former drug trafficker who was aided by the Trumpster in Trump 1.0 and Her Majesty Kim Kardashian when they got her out of jail because for some reason they felt like it was, an injustice for her to be locked up.
Well, I mean,
that's your part.
They're seeing all of these because there's so many of these. So many of these pardons are straight bribery, right? Straight payoffs, like all these crypto. All these crypto people are going through them as well because it just seems to me like they're just cutting a check and it's flowing into the Trump bank account and then they just get a pardon. Like we've stopped paying attention to the pardons in the way we stopped paying attention to mass shootings, right? In the way we stopped paying attention to Trump's deranged tweets until it tips to one that's particularly egregious, like last night. But 24 hours later, it'll be forgotten and on to the next story, right? This story will be gone in a day. And Mike Lawler stepped up and called it, what did he call it? I think he called it wrong. Thanks for the strong language, Mike. That's wrong. That's as strong that got put under the heading of GOP pushback.
Right.
That was lauded as one of the politicians willing to quote push back against Trump was to say that was wrong. A couple of them like Don Bacon and Tom Massey actually, had some harsh words, but most of them, was very soft. They didn't really want to get Trump's ire, right?
No doubt.
So, it's absolutely, to me, it's disgraceful and pathetic. So to me, the reaction of the GOP has been an embarrassment. And it just tells you this is who they are. This is what they're rolling with. And this is what they're what they're comfortable with.
And they're okay.
My quick hit of the day, real quick, we'll do some homework on this. Anyone still watching at the end, go take a look at like some Elizabeth Warren's recent tweets and or commentary from the floor. She is going after what you brought up a week ago, Mark, about private equity buying into the housing industry and pricing them out. But she's also saying it's going on in the nursing home industry. It's even going on in like local fire departments. But big money is buying it into all of these industries, sucking the dollars out of them and destroying the service that comes with it. So once again, Elizabeth Warren very much on her soapbox, pointing out economic atrocities and how the 1% is playing the rest of us. So that's my quick hit of the day. Mark, I think I lost you. So I think we're going to sign off here, and I'm going to catch up with you tomorrow.
Yeah.